watch. She loves to watch. As the house stays having little girl's heart, she watches Mr. Silverberg because of clothes in the dark.
Which camera will I be on? This one? Hey, I think, did they roll in with the music? Are we on? Yeah, this is a real professional show. Hi, I'm Art Fein. This is Little Art's Chrysler Party number 2, our Little Art's Poker Party, Sans Poker. We have a few guys back from Little Art's Poker Party number 1, and I'm
Chrysler Party number 1.
Thank you very much.
You can deal me in there.
Okay, this is the Chrysler Party number 2. Coming back for the second time is Mr. Rip Masters over yonder in the orange shirt, and next to him,
Chartreuse.
Mr. Bob Merlis, back again.
Hi.
Nice to have you here. He's from another camp. He's from the Studebaker camp.
No, I'm a Mopar now.
And special guest, first time with us today, is Mr. Richard Carpenter, renowned Chrysler person. Richard, you're featured in this book, Collector's Automobile. Was this month's?
Yeah, collectible automobiles.
Collectible automobiles. So they got a whole spread on your Chrysler collection. Is that correct? I haven't really read this.
Well, yeah, it's on the 300s, the letter series 300s, from 55 through 65.
All right, so what years did they make the 300s?
From 55 through 65.
That's
Is there an echo here?
Well, and then there were a few, well, a couple actually. There was the 300 Hearst.
Hearst?
Hearst,
Oh,
right,
yeah, right,
after the
right,
shifter, they made that, and then the 79 300. But the actual true letter series 300s they made from 55 through 65.
And you've got one of each?
With the exception of the H. By then, the tail fins had become a thing of the past, and poor Chrysler, of course, they started the rage. They hung on to them too long, and for 62, they felt they'd better do something. They had all new Dodges and Plymouths for that year, but the Chrysler wasn't going to be all new until 63. So they fielded a car that was actually the 60 and 61 Chrysler without the fins.
Oh, the emasculated Chrysler, I
And
recall
Virgil
that
Exner,
one,
the stylist, called it the plucked chicken.
This one?
And that's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
And it's
Clever.
exactly the way I feel.
Well, this is
it was
like-
a hell of a fast car.
It's like we're on radio. If you folks could see this, you would see it. It's like
yeah,
it's like
you
a
wouldn't care
Chrysler.
at
It's like a
all.
Chrysler with
But,
fins without fins. So, so you've omitted that in your collection as sort of
I had
as a
one
protest.
for a while, and finally we needed some more room, and I just wasn't that wild about it, so I sold it.
I got a Chrysler question for you serious Mopar people. In '55, they came out with the 300. Didn't have an A, B, or C because it was the first one. They
Well, it
didn't
was
know how
actually
to do
called
it.
the C300.
That's right.
After
right.
Briggs Cunningham.
And then ultimately there was a Plymouth Fury. Each line of the Chrysler's output had like an ultra
Right.
car. What
There's
did
a
Dodge
reason.
have?
You want to take that one, Rip?
Okay. Dodge did it differently, which actually their method was the one that was later adopted by all the other lines. Theirs was an engine option. So rather than have a limited production car at the top of the line, they made the high performance engine available in all cars.
D500
The
engine.
D500 and the D501. So you could buy the cheapest car, which was an idea later picked up
Roadrunner.
by Pontiac GTO and Roadrunner.
Right.
You could buy the cheapest car with the biggest engine and go racing. Unfortunately, they didn't capitalize on it for another 10 years.
But they didn't
But
have
they
an
did.
anodized
But
aluminum
they did
side
have the
cone.
Regal
They did.
Lancer,
Right.
but really was not.
Regal or Royal?
They had the Royal Lancer and the Regal Lancer.
This is a mystery that's finally explained to me.
But it really
Which
was
is-
not a performance option in the same sense
The
that,
trim
that the
option.
Golden Adventure,
Yeah.
the Fury, and the 300s were
300.
at that time.
Right.
So I hope that answers that for you,
Well, I
Bob.
wanna
Now
thank
you.
you.
Can sleep.
I know we came from the Chrysler Plymouth side of things in my family, so I didn't, wasn't really tuned into the Dodge side.
Well, when you guys are talking about names like the Regal Lancer and the Royal I mean, these are names. These are days when cars were good and they had names too. I mean, like I was looking, we were talking about this a little on the last show about how can you get excited about a Celica? And that's the stuff they put in like stereo so it doesn't get damp, right? Little Celica gel. Or
Yeah.
I saw one the other day, a Japanese car. It had a number series. It was a 1.8. I said, boy, is that exciting?
No, that's the
Well, it has to be
displacement of the
liters.
engine.
Right.
Well, that's what it says in big, like, how much lower than a 1.8 can you get? Like a 0.75 maybe? I mean,
Well, a little three-cylinder car.
if they call it a million, I might want to buy it. But what's a 1.8?
Well, they really were into the nomenclature and the names. Everything had it. I think
Well,
one thing we didn't talk about then was everything had a name. Not only the cars, the power steering had a name, the power
Right.
brakes had a name,
Right.
the engines had names.
Transmissions.
You know,
The styling had a name. Like right here,
Flight
you look
sweep
at
styling
this,
right here, I'd
Flight
say.
sweep
57
styling,
DeSoto
forward
flight
looks
sweep styling, and
Exactly. Torsion air ride.
The finest.
torque flight.
Well, I know there was a hybrid.
transmission.
What was the push button that had a name?
Torque flight.
Torque flight.
Well, no,
But that's
there was one
actually the-
before. The two-speed was called
Well,
what?
Power Flight.
Power Flight, sure.
But that's the same as, in a sense, as Chevy's Power Glide, and then there
Of
are
course,
others.
Merc-O-Matic was a hip name,
And
too.
Ford-O-Matic, and
But the one thing that really strikes you is you read through these brochures, every option had a name, no matter how ludicrous. Even the mirrors at one point.
Well,
had
there was
a mirror
Mirror-matic.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the Studebaker had a Strato View mirror. That's the
I would
higher,
hope so.
higher option mirror.
That,
Two levels of mirror trim.
Well, okay. Well, I was going to say, Rich, your concentration as far as the 300s goes from 55 to 65, which, as far as I'm concerned, is when there were cars. Period. I don't care about before 55. I don't even care much before 57. But 55 certainly. 54,
oh, there were some pretty nifty cars before 57.
You're another one of these guys that
though,
likes
but,
cars before 57, huh?
Well, starting in 55.
Oh,
with a
okay.
few from 53 and 4. But 55 was such a banner year in more ways than sales
Oh, yeah.
in the American automotive
But not
business.
Plymouths particularly.
Well,
Sure, first
relative.
Compared to a 54
Compared to a
Plymouth, they had it.
54,
They got the
night and
V8,
day.
They were overjoyed
Yeah.
just to have it.
But I mean, you have to figure they came out with the all-new styling, the Ford, the Chevy, the Plymouth, DeSoto, Dodge, Chrysler, and the introduction of the 265 small block Chevy in 55.
Yeah.
Of course, the Corvette was just starting to come into its own. The Thunderbird was introduced in 55.
Does anybody know, by the way, where anybody at Chevy got the idea to have a sports car with a 6 in it at that time?
Well, you have to figure
There
the
was-
Jag at the time, which it was patterned after in a sense, was a 6.
And the Chevrolet division, actually,
Had
Corvette
field.
came in 53.
Came
There
in
was
53,
no
and the
V8.
V8 was in the works, but it wasn't introduced at the
And
time.
the strange thing is, you could only get it with a 2-speed.
Automatic.
Power slide.
Automatic, because they
Right.
they did a market survey. The car was originally intended for only kind of the upper class of people, lawyers, the last people in the world that wanted to drive a sports car that didn't have roll-up windows. So they kind of mixed their metaphors. They brought out a sports car that was supposed to be like a Jaguar, but the people they polled, really Thunderbird stole that market.
Oh, they creamed the Corvette.
Yeah.
The
Until they
Corvette
got
was
the
almost
V8.
slated for extinction. It finally got itself together.
I think we're getting off the track here. I hate
Oh,
to.
yes,
I don't care. I don't care. We're talking about 61 being, what's the opposite of a watershed year? What about the bottom of the barrel year with this Chrysler? You don't have to look at it. It's not horrible. It's just not great.
Well, 61 was kind of the last of that era.
62 was the finless.
62 kind of was the beginning of the whole new type of car for Chrysler.
Right.
The beginning of, as he mentioned, they brought out a new car in 62, which was a big flop. Supposed to be
Unfortunately.
small. They downsized their cars.
Well, see,
15
what
years
had
too
happened
early.
was that they'd heard that GM was going to downsize the Impala and all for 62, so they went into
Well,
a
they did.
crash
No, they didn't. They brought out
program.
the Chevelle.
Oh, no. Well, the Chevelle didn't come out until
Not till
64.
later.
But the thing,
61 Chevy was much smaller than a 60.
oh, no, no,
Sure it
no.
was.
It looks
No,
smaller,
no,
Believe
no.
me, it isn't.
Really?
Really?
Optical illusion?
It
Yeah.
isn't smaller.
Boy, it seems
And then the
smaller.
62, if anything, was bigger.
Yeah.
And, well, at any rate, Chrysler had heard that they were going to downsize. And they'd already had their 62s set and ready to go, or almost to that point,
Yeah.
when they got this news that they thought was a hot tip. So at the last minute, they downsized the Dodge, the full-size Dodge and Plymouth.
Right.
I happen to like especially the Plymouth very much. I
What
think
year?
it's a good 62.
I like them, but most people just
Most
they're too
people
odd.
No, I dig them. The rear window, total Studebaker.
Oh, that's the Studebaker,
cool.
the long
Yeah.
hood.
And we
Yeah.
owned one. It was an absolutely fantastic
Also,
car.
Virgil Exner's little sports car with the off.
XNR.
Oh, sure, Exner.
Which,
right.
what am I trying to say? Asymmetrical style.
Right.
That's kind of like based on that car.
Supposedly
which
that
was
car
always-
is being driven to this day
In,
Arabia
Saudi
by
Arabia or
some-
something like
by
that,
some
yeah.
potentate.
It's the wildest looking sports car with one fin going from behind the driver's head. Well, kind of like.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually-
Grand
it's
Prix
quite
cars
nice,
of the
I
50s.
Well, they foreshadowed two styling trends.
And it was a 6
the
too.
downsized cars and the short trunk, long hood.
The 62 Plymouth had that.
Yeah.
And
However,
of course the
cars were a
Mustangs.
flop,
Oh yeah.
and they had to rush out a big car. Those cars became, rather they couldn't afford to waste such research, so those cars became later on the Belvedere,
intermediates, the
Satellite,
Belvedere, the
and
Coronet.
Roadrunner, or actually those original 62 big cars.
Right.
Well, I
And
can
not only
admit
that,
that
of
my
course,
dream car is the 62 Sport Fury.
beautiful car.
Right.
I really think it's
the
a
fastest car in my hometown.
terrific
in
car.
62.
Yeah.
3 or 5 horse, a light little
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, great.
And of course that's why one reason they had to come along with the 5-year 50,000 warranty in 63 to try to get back some of their. They made a big mistake in introducing that downsized car. So back to fins.
Well, back to Finn, sort of. We go back to 1961. Now, you people have to know these cars to know what we're talking about. We don't have any visual aids. However, I think possibly the 60, aside from certain Studebaker Packards, which were really grotesque, the 61 Dodge, I think, is the worst-looking car ever made in America. Has elephant ears and
You got a caucus on that. Well, which the Dart series or
the full size.
Both.
The big Polara
Actually,
Matador.
they both had that reverse.
Well, the Dart was kind of rounded, and the Polara
Polara
Matador
had
was
the-
sliced.
had the
Well,
rocket
it had
tubes.
rocket tube
Rocket tubes.
taillights.
Yeah.
And of course, the grill was nothing to write home.
Rip was going to name his daughter Polara.
Yeah.
Did you know? But he thought better of it.
Yesterday was the birthday of my new daughter Sheila. For the record.
Congratulations.
Cigars.
all the cigars.
Congratulations.
I personally, I have gone so. I'm at this point liking cars that I never liked. I can see a lot of good in certain models of the '61 Dodges, but it was
You really got to
the
look.
end. That was the end of an era as far as he had gone as far out with that theme that he started in '57. He really, and they had told him change it every year. He really had gone.
Well, the trouble
as far
is,
as
the
he
50, in a sense, the 57 was so perfectly
He could
styled,
never
there was
surpass
it.
nothing.
He
That's like
couldn't
when they went to the
surpass it.
58, the taillight lenses, and the 58 Chrysler.
Not as good.
They shriveled them.
The only
Just
car they improved was the
changed-
Plymouth, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Really? Why?
Well, and the
taillights?
Dodge.
Because of the dual
I
headlights?
think they cleaned up the grill of the 58 Dodge.
Yeah.
Oh, Richard and I
But
were
the
talking about
DeSoto,
it before this. We have to mention that there are two grills in the '57. They couldn't. They had a lot of consumer backlash because there were big slots under the bumper.
Right.
The Stone Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had to put extra little cross pieces.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Well,
they filled it in because people didn't like those big slots. They figured
Right.
that gravel was going to. Plus, it did jar with it. When you look at them, it does
Yeah,
jar with the
agreed.
rest of the car. The next year, they took the little
Horizontal.
thing and they
Yeah.
echoed the upper grill with
Yeah.
the like
Very
pristine
nice.
car.
Remember in the
Beautiful
'58
car.
recession,
nice.
they put out some special recession specials. They took
the
the
silver
lowest price.
special.
Yeah, the lowest price.
They
you
called
know-
them recession specials?
Well, no,
No.
but that's what they did. They chromed the bottom of the line, is what they did.
If you're down and out, buy this car.
Put
Yeah.
some real extra strange little chrome Phillips in whatever the, I guess
the
the
Plaza.
Plaza
body.
Plaza.
thing, yeah.
But they
It was
called it something else.
They called
like
it the Silver Special.
Right, and
it-
Dodge had one too, didn't they?
Maybe.
All I
I'm
remember
not
from
sure.
Dodge is the La Femme,
The
which
La
was
Femme.
55 and
La
6.
Femme. That's the ladies'
Five and
car.
It was a
six.
ladies'
Wow.
car. Came with an umbrella holder, and it was
And an umbrella and a rain hat.
You know what? This is so much like a Batman theme. You know how Batman in all the episodes go completely wild with the theme they've built? This is like, but in Detroit with big money. It's a great idea.
Different shades of pink, and it had all these little purse and boots and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have one of these cars with all the accessories, you have something absolutely rare and unusual.
Unbelievable.
And they were really starting to think of women as making the decisions, buying cars in those days, which they were just starting to realize, even though they'd probably been making the decisions for years. So they made cars specifically geared towards women.
Right, and if you look at most women driving today, most of them do have pink cars with umbrella holders. So
I've noticed it. Really
Made
caught on.
sense
It
to
really
me.
caught on. Yeah.
Well, you were speaking of option packages. You were telling me about, was it a Plymouth Fonzie they had?
Oh, this was the trouble with Chrysler, they had some good ideas, but they really never knew when they had a good one. So they would take a good idea and then either water it down or figure, well, if one is good, two or three's got to be better. So one in 1976, Happy Days was going good, so they took a Plymouth Volare, which was kind of a loser for them, and put a padded Carson 50. They tried to make a 50 style cruiser out of a Volare, which of course doesn't work. And they
Looked
put
like a
Lakes
coffin
plugs on it.
wheels, right?
Lakers?
Lakes plugs, they're the low pipes that
Yeah,
go
they
out.
put Lakers on
They
it?
put lace plugs on it. They put a padded Carson top, and they either came with baby moons or genuine wire wheels, which nobody had figured out how to balance at the time. So they all came back for warranty work.
It was a
and you-
paragon of bad
You
taste.
could never make
I mean,
them. And then inside was a bone stock, ugly Plymouth Volare.
Art, you and I know Ken Barnes, who owned for many years a Hang 10 Dodge Dart Swinger, special surf mobile. He bought it, probably bought it from you. It was like an end of the year clearance thing.
What year
Couldn't look
Hang 10 was this?
at it.
Well, Swinger would have been the
75.
early, yeah.
Anyway, it was basically a duster type body with fold down rear seat, and you go right into the
space
trunk so you
anchor
could
pack.
put your surfboard in there. And it had little great graphics on the side of a
And a
surfer.
little 2 feet on it.
Yeah.
Now, Richard, maybe if you saw a little of the other show we did you know Rip's story about the Demon, about how they issued it and the people in the South went crazy?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Wonderful story. Would you retell that for those of you who
Well,
missed the first show?
apparently they were going to lose all their fleet orders to certain areas of the country that are very religious and have feelings about words such as demon, and they were
Because they actually had a devil decal on it, right?
Well,
They
yeah,
had a little cartoon.
characterized
They like once again they liked the Roadrunner, so everybody got dusters and demons and various little cartoon
Super
characters.
bees and
Super bees.
Super bees,
and
that's right.
Scat
Yeah.
packs and things.
Wow, the 6-pack.
You know.
Well, what was
so
it? Yeah.
so the Demon was discontinued very quickly, and it became the Dart Sport.
Actually, we were talking about, I asked Rip quite innocently, because you keep up on these things, what they're running at drag strips now, because I don't see them making performance cars, and you said they're really running 60s cars, or up until 71 or 2.
Well, yeah, I know a 340 still has one class wrapped up.
Oh, sure.
What's that?
It's a 62,
the small
62
block,
stage 3 wedges to have a couple of classes.
What's a stage 3 wedge? It sounds like a piece of cheese. What is that?
It's a it's an intermediate Chrysler, like a Coronet.
Well, it's a Dodge.
A Dodge Coronet,
Yeah.
right, with an aluminum front end, aluminum bumpers.
Wait, so those are considered stock because they made them?
Because they made enough of them. They have Corning glass windows with a little strap like a European railway carriage where you put a thing and you stick it over a peg. There's no window winders in them. They have just no carpeting. They have Dodge van bucket seats.
So
And
you're
so
saying
it's an acid-dipped car. It's a very, very light stock car.
acid-dipped car?
Yeah, the metal is
Is that like
thinner.
stonewashed jeans?
It's very close. The
similar.
metal is thinner.
okay.
They
so
take
it
the
weighs
metal and
less.
dip it in acid until it's almost eaten away, and then they weld it into a car body, which of course weighs a lot less.
Can you buy this stuff from Direct Connection?
Maybe. In those days, you could buy the whole car for very, very cheaply if you had the right, connection.
Or else you got to get your own acid
If
vet.
you had the real direct connection, and you could go and take this car out to the drag strip and win the next day. And this is at a time in '62 and '3 when they were trying to save their image. They were also at that time putting cars on the street to a limited number of people that had bulletproof race motors. And if you knew the right person, because they wanted to be the king of the street. I knew a kid in my town whose father was the Chrysler dealer. He had a '62 Sport Fury with a 413 in it,
Right.
and he blew one up. But he was the fastest in town. They sent him a new motor in a box.
They
We want
He
to
was
keep
dead. But,
They sent him in a box too, yeah.
and they made these Superbirds, and I mean that was a Roadrunner with a racing nose and
well,
a
they had
huge.
to build X amount of those just to make them.
Well,
what's
the
the word?
spoiler.
Ferrari's building the
Yeah,
GTO.
there's a name for that.
Homologado.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
makes it kosher. So, and private citizens could drive these like monster brute
Well, you
cars.
just said bullet nose. You mean they put a Studebaker grill on it, are you saying?
No,
Is that what you-
bulletproof is
Oh,
what he said.
bulletproof.
Yeah.
Well, so they put the
Unkillable.
spoiler fins that were sticking up. They're amazing cars. You could like hang your laundry on it or something.
Yeah,
on
those
the
cars they
weekend.
couldn't sell, and they sold for as little as $3,000 at the
Now
end of the
they're
model.
worth,
Now they're worth about
yeah.
10 to 15. If you'd bought one for 3,000,
So wait, I mean, we're talking.
between the Dodge and the Plymouth.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little
Little
bit.
slots or
The
something.
Dodge, the Charger was the Daytona, and the Plymouth was the Superbird.
Yeah.
And,
There's a few.
Did it have the horn? The beep beep horn?
I believe it.
probably
did.
so,
I think
yeah.
God, that's
I gave that heavy thought right before I bought my Cuda
Yeah.
back in '70.
Got a Cuda.
It had the vinyl top and.
How do you
I
like
don't know.
driving the '70s performance cars? What do you think?
Well,
of
the
it?
Cuda I think is one fabulous car. We got that in April '70, 446 pack with the Grand Coupe option,
Great car.
and it is one fabulous
Torque
car.
flight.
Torque flight, the slapstick,
Yeah.
and the leather seats.
Slapstick.
And it's a terrific car. It really is. I thought Chrysler made some. They got into a little trouble, obviously, with quality control, which is what killed them, because here they were selling cars as quickly as they could in '57, because they'd finally gotten their, well, starting in '55, and then by '57 they'd gotten their styling together. So all of a sudden people were starting to buy these Chrysler cars like crazy. They weren't put together worth a damn. So all
Well,
of them that
I've
they
been through
sold,
this.
so then they got this backlash of people who wouldn't get near a Chrysler car. And then it was one wrong decision
they got
after
incentive.
another. But starting, like as I mentioned, I like the '62. But by the time the '63s, '4s, '5s, they were really making good cars.
They really were. Those are.
Oh, I had a
cars that
'64
go
Dodge.
for
That's
it.
right. Yeah, and I got
But
120,000
then
miles.
by '70 again, they won a lot of converts with the new Challenger and Cuda body, and a lot of things like the door fit and things were.
Not
I had
the
a couple of
greatest.
Cudas. I loved the cars, but they did lose some people
You
there.
didn't swing with the old Barracuda, with the giant glass, the sort of a converted
Like I
down.
say, the sickness with me is spread. I'm starting to like all of them
I
in
like
their own
those.
way.
I like
Those
the
are
fact
real-
that the rear glass has this strange curve. I mean,
What are we talking about, Bob?
compound
It's the
curve,
original
yeah,
Barracuda.
63,
the 60,
4, 5,
four,
and 6,
four,
yeah.
five, and 6.
yeah,
and they
this
changed
is
to 7.
they needed to compete with the Ford Mustang,
Yeah.
which Mustang is basically a Falcon with a little sports body on
But
it.
they did such a beautiful job with it.
Well,
that's the
Mustang,
thing.
yeah. So
But,
Chrysler thought, our equivalent of a Falcon is a Valiant, so we'll make it into a wild fastback and put a 300-pound piece of glass on the back to turn it into a fastback, and it was
It
sort
had
of
a lot
cool
of room
car.
in it. The
Yeah.
back seats would fold back.
I know
and
many teenagers that swore by those cars.
Yeah.
They were really put together. I just was never wild about the looks.
It was kind of hot in the back,
So
too.
that was about 1965 or 6, which was what I called the Hudsonization of everything, because everything started looking like it was swept back like the old Hudsons did. And
Well,
it's
of
like
course, Bill Mitchell started, and he did a beautiful job with the Stingray Corvette in 1963,
Right.
which
So
was a
that's-
beautiful.
So that started it.
So then, of course, Rambler hopped on with the Marlin.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
And even the original Charger had a gorgeous
yeah.
interior, but
Real
until
fastback.
'68,
Yeah.
then it was gorgeous.
Incredible interior, though.
Oh, the interior was
The
something else.
electroluminescence and everything.
Yeah, and the seats.
I was just reading a story about Dukes of Hazzard, and it mentioned they used 69 Dodges on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 1978 TV series, but they had to go back to 69 to the image of power in a police.
Well, think about what the hell was
Well,
available in 1978. It was
Yeah.
really exciting.
I stopped watching. I don't know what's available.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
pay no attention to cars
Well,
anymore.
that's
what
the standard car for. You must have read this article about the prototype car in which the Duke's General Lee car is based.
Well, sure,
was
it's a Chrysler 300D,
right?
I
Yeah.
believe. A C or a D. I think it's a D. Yeah.
I mean, this really was, a bootlegger's car because it could outrun police cars, and
Oh, I
it
see.
had all kinds
well,
of
and it had the
tanks.
oil and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is based on real life, as strange as that
Yeah,
is.
it was a...
I mean, they
Moonrunner or
didn't shoot it
something.
over
Right,
ramps.
exactly.
So, Richard, are you a late Chrysler convert, or have you always been?
Always
Chrysler?
been.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, on the Yesterday ones, is that the album where it has the pictures of the cars on it? Yesterday.
That's Now and Then.
Now and Then, sorry.
Yeah, is the name of the album.
But that's got like a Valiant and a...
Oh, the graphics department arbitrarily.
Because they weren't real
Because there was a
zingy.
Rambler on it.
Yeah, there's a
and-
Rambler on it. I said, what?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But my Daytona was on the front, at least, my Ferrari. And no, the auto collection is named after one of our songs, Yesterday Once More.
Uh-huh.
And no, we were born into it, Karen and I. Dad, his father-in-law bought one of the first Plymouths. When Dad met Mom, he was driving a Chevy, then a Ford, then he drove the Plymouth, and that took care of it. I mean, once he drove the Plymouth, he never touched another car.
Right, your collection, we talked about the 1955 to 65 Chrysler letter lines. You have more than that?
More
cars?
Chrysler cars, more
More
automobiles.
Chrysler cars.
Yeah, the 70 Plymouth, 259 Sport Fury Plymouth.
259, wait, let me ask you a question now.
Oh, beautiful
I don't know if it's a
car.
59 or 60. Which one had, when you opened the door, the seat
swivel
swung
seat?
out with
well,
you?
Well, I imagine it was even offered as an option in 60, although I'm not going to swear to that, but you're thinking of the 59.
Yeah, I think I am.
Sport Fury.
Does that yours have that?
Oh, yes.
It has the
oh, yeah.
seat swings
I
out
have
option.
A hardtop coupe
So
and
crazy.
a convertible. And I've always liked those cars.
I mean,
so
well, I think 60s were the top
The
of a
most
Plymouth
extreme
with a
fins.
shark mouth on the front. And,
oh, yeah, but
and
the Plymouth, the
59 is a
fin,
nice looking car.
Yeah, see, 59, but the 60 was getting a little bit, that shark fin
people
was just a-
hold the 59 Cadillac up as the paragon of excess, and it's really not. It's a 60 Plymouth.
Plymouth.
That is the biggest fins. I'm sure they're
But
higher
see,
off the
by
ground.
then it had gotten, oh, yeah, you're going to raise your fins that high?
Yeah.
Wait till next year.
I'll see you, Fein, and race you.
Hey, it is a poker
Yeah, that's
party.
exactly right. That's exactly what it is. And then it got crazy. It really did.
But then they just shaved
what do
them
I have?
off.
A 57 Fury
Yeah.
and a 59 DeSoto Adventurer.
Was there a Sport Fury in 57? Or was it
No,
Fury?
no.
Just
What
that's with
they
the gold
done,
on
the
it.
same as Chevy did and all the rest. The Fury was kind of like the 300 of the Plymouth line, kind of a limited production thing. And by then, the name Plymouth and Fury, they kind of stuck together. So they figured, we'll just make it. We'll cash in on this. We'll make it our top of the line. So then to replace the Fury, they called it a Sport Fury.
Can you top this? Ford Fairlane, Fairlane 500, Fairlane Galaxy,
Right.
Galaxy 500, Galaxy 500 XL, and so on.
You ran out of
Those
right.
building things on
Moniker,
top.
moniker. I mean, of course, the Chevy Impala sold a lot more than they ever thought it was going to in '58. So right off the bat, where it was only offered as a hardtop and a convert in '58, they offered it as a sedan in '59.
Excuse me, like 58, they only had hardtops and convertibles. They didn't
Right,
have any
it was
sense
a-
in the top of the line. You say they'd sold well, yet they changed the styling entirely the next year?
Well,
Chevy?
yeah, that's one of the few times.
Yeah, the body
styling
shell
of the
lasted
58,
1 year.
Corporate decision. That was-
right.
there's a lot- there's a
Well,
long
at the
story of that.
time, they were going for the planned obsolescence, and they were actually thinking about changing, totally changing, not just facelifting, every year. And of
America
course, that
was
came
great
to a
once,
quick
sorry.
halt because at the
We're here to
time they
tell
were
you.
on a joyride. 55 up until 65 was the banner year for automobile sales. They were selling cars.
Wait, you
By
mentioned...
58, they were in the Eisenhower recession. All of a sudden, things had
Oh, yeah, you
changed.
mentioned a high-selling 58. So you're saying that the 57 Chevy sold less good than the 58?
They sold better than the 58.
But it was a recession. It was.
Yeah, everything
but
was
the
down, but
Impala
relatively, the Impala was meant to
sold
be
very
kind of
well.
like
It was
an
a-
image car, and they didn't think they were going to sell that
I think
many.
they
It
were
was such
even
a
Bel Air
terrific.
Impalas the first year, weren't they?
Yeah, it was like a little trim.
Yeah.
Well, a little more than
Where
that.
the
but
Bel Air was still considered top of the line, the Impala was kind of like its own thing, like a Bonneville originally was to a Pontiac. Low production, the same as a
Or like a
300 to a
300,
Chrysler.
sure.
Yeah.
It took off like mad, or relatively, and as a result, and people were starting to say, and instead of it got a generic name. I mean, people were starting to say, "What'd you get?" I got a new Impala. You never heard anyone say, "Oh, I got a new Savoy," or "I got a new Belvedere," but people were saying, "I got a new Fury," or "I got a new Impala." So they decided, we'll cash in on this. We'll make it an actual top of the line. So the Del Rey bought the farm. Biscayne moved down a notch, and the Impala. So then, of course,
Del
before
Rey.
too long had gone by, then all of a sudden the Impala
Always named after
wasn't the
beaches.
top of the line, then it was Caprice. And that's the way it's worked with Galaxy and
Caprice
LTD and
Then
all like that.
SS.
It's very boring.
We've got about two minutes left. How many cars you got totally?
About 35.
Do you keep them around the house? Or?
Oh yeah, keep them around the house.
Now you're recently married. Now I find generally women don't care about Chrysler cars. Does your
That's
wife
right,
share your
my wife
passion?
doesn't care about Chrysler cars. That's exactly.
I mean, does she?
What home?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're washing out the dual quads in the sink, does she like get mad at you or?
Oh no. But actually, Mary puts up with quite a bit, and she actually truly likes a few of my automobiles, and others she loathes. But since they don't lie around the yard and the house, there's no trouble.
So you have a storage area where you keep them?
Yeah, I have a warehouse.
And is that?
It's a good thing.
Do you take like it's Monday? I think I'll take out the Studebaker, or what is it? I mean.
Yeah, well, I have a Studebaker Avanti, and
What year?
it's a '63 R2.
What do you
but
got?
63.
Terrific cars. If I have some time, and if a car has been scoped and set up and ready to go by my guys, then I'll take it out.
Do you have your own testing track, like banked? Anything?
No, warehouse.
A lot of
and
room
we
in
have
down here. I
a-
thought you might be able to just.
Oh, no,
couple
I don't think the
blocks.
police would like that too much.
Well, I'm sorry, this isn't Little Large Chrysler Hour. We could go on for a couple days, I think, at this rate. But we are running out of time. We'll say goodbye and we'll keep talking. Goodbye. We'll see you next time there's one of these. And so long.
And one of those.
And one of those. Rip, you got your 57 DeSoto out.
She loves to watch. She loves to watch. She loves to watch. As the house stays havoc, little girl's heart. She watching Mr. Silver Berkeley coffee close in the dark. The other pocket for her. Will exercise. She looks through the window in the other girl's eyes. She loves to watch. She sometimes make herself known. She loves to watch. Yeah. Well, it really turns her on. She loves to watch. Well, it's more than fun. Just wanna meet